Okay, welcome to this week's episode on Laid Back the Dr Uzy Nduka podcast. And with me here today we have Uzy. How are you, Uzy?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
Yeah. Would you like to introduce yourself to the guests and tell them who you are, what you do,
Yeah,
and
sure.
what you're all about? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Hi. So my name is Uzi. I'm currently a PhD candidate, but that phase is almost done in the next 2 months or so. So I'm doing a PhD in economics, and also I work as an economic analyst for a water company. And I also freelance as an economic data analyst and also as just a normal data analyst and visualization. But yeah, that's a little bit of what I do. And when I'm not doing these things, I'm just enjoying life.
So that's a lot of roles and responsibilities. How do you combine all of them?
I would say time management maybe and prioritization. So, for instance, in my PhD, before I started working full time, I used to treat my PhD as a full time job. So, I would commit 6 to 8 hours to it every day and within a set time. And then after that, I'll do my thing, maybe go to the gym, whatever. And then if I have any freelance projects to work on, I'll start working on those. But since I started working full time, I've had to kind of, adjust my timing again, which, like I said, goes down to time management. So a typical day for me would start at around 6 a.m., which normally is not me. I wake up late, but I've had to adjust. So I wake up at 6 a.m., do about 3 hours of PhD writing, and then start work at 9, finish at 5, take an hour, go to the gym, come back, sleep a little bit, wake up, do another 3 hours writing on the PhD, do any freelance projects I have to do. So in the end, I still end up doing about 6 hours on the PhD on a day. But I think I just have learned to manage my time and just cut out some things because I know it's like a temporary phase until I submit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not to cut you short, but I realized I forgot to actually introduce the topic, but at least you've actually given a sneak peek into what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
So we're actually talking about life work balance, and usually I just actually describe what we're trying to say. Like, how do you actually fit all these things into a particular day? Because, for example, you said you wake up by 6 a.m. That's okay. If I use myself, if I wake up by 6 a.m., I wake up early.
Yeah.
I must go for a walk.
Okay.
If I have to go for a walk before I can get, so I don't know how you actually manage to do all those things. You wake up by 6, you have to write, because for me, writing, I have to set my mind to actually write and get a good work.
Yeah.
Put something into it. Do you always the first, like, within 6 and 9 a.m., do you always get that time to actually say, okay, do you always get work done, or do you so hard to do something? Because I know writing can be hard, and if you have like writer's block, you can't do anything. So do you
Yeah.
always get something done, or is this something, is it like is it spontaneous, or is it like, how do just like, is
Yeah.
it something that work comes easily to you, or do you have to like get into the mood to write?
To be fair, I have to get into the mood to write. But what I do is the previous night, I kind of prep myself. So before I go to bed, mentally, I've already started kind of mapping out what I want to write the next day, if that makes sense. So when I wake up, I know exactly what I'm trying to do. So I go straight to it. But like you said, there are some days you wake up and man, you're not just feeling it. But what I do is I try to do something on the PhD within that time. So even if it's do something else that is not writing, maybe other stuff I've been putting off, like maybe formatting my tables or addressing some comments, but just something that is not writing, but I still make sure I just is tailored towards the PhD so that time does not go to waste. And I'm not really a morning person by nature. Like by nature, I would rather not be awake that early. So what I do is I wake up like maybe, to be fair, I wake up like 5:30, but I get up at 6. So between that 5:30 and 6 is like my booting period. I'm booting. So I just lie on my bed and I'm mentally thinking, okay, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do. And then once it's 6, I just get up and I go to my computer and, open up all my documents and stuff. But I can't really exercise in the morning. Like you go on a walk in the morning, that's great. I can't do that. Like it's just physically not possible.
But still, like, I'm trying to understand how you get your head around things. Okay, you don't travel to your place of work, do you? Because
no.
That's gonna be hard for you to get the 3 hours in early in the morning to
Yeah.
And then you work 9 to 5, and then you come back and go straight to the gym. That's because just traveling alone to work, as literally it will exhaust you. By the time you get back home, you're already exhausted.
You're already
Maybe
exhausted,
just drive
yeah.
to the gym and then from there you get home. You're already
Yeah.
exhausted before you even get home. So by the time you get home, maybe you just want to like binge on, maybe just see an episode,
Yeah.
and then you get some rest. So I'm trying to understand. Do you So I'm guessing you do everything from home. So this is remote working.
Yes.
So
So when I was interviewing for the job, it was really important that is either fully remote working or very flexible, because I just knew that I had to complete, writing a PhD, and commuting to work every day would not have worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So do you think that you've managed to find this balance in your life because you've been working remotely, and if you were to go into office, do you think it would have been hard for you to find that balance?
I would say it would have been harder, not impossible, just harder, right? Because so I have to go to the office once a month. Yeah. So on the days that I do have to go into the office, I leave my office at maybe 5 or sometimes slightly earlier, and I get back home at around 6, thereabout. And once I get home, I would just do a home workout instead of going to the gym. So I just do a home workout, and then I go to sleep really early, like maybe 8 o'clock or something. And I wake up at around 2, and then I write.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if I had to do that every day, maybe it would be more exhausting, because what I do on those days is I don't have time to just chill, watch TV or something. I don't do that on those days when I go to the office. So if it was an everyday thing, then definitely it would be more of a challenge. But I like to think that I would find a way to make it work.
Okay, fair, because I think I'm like you, kind of. I like doing so many things at the same time. I feel like doing one thing is boring, but still, having that discipline to stick to that particular routine every day can be hard if you're working on different projects.
Yeah.
Because there was a time, for example, I remember when I was writing my dissertation as well. So I was writing my dissertation, I was working, I was teaching at 2 universities, I was writing a journal. Like,
yeah,
sometimes I felt like even just writing the thesis was taking my whole time, and sometimes I found it hard to like to do the teaching, even though I ended up combining all of them, but it was a little bit hard because teaching in 2 universities, writing, it sounds like it's nothing, but it takes a lot.
It's a lot of mental energy.
And at the end of the day, then I figured that at the end of the day, I'll be wondering, because I'll call my friends and tell them I don't understand. I don't think I've done any physical thing, but I'm so exhausted and I don't get it.
Yeah.
One day, a friend of mine told me, "Don't you know that mental work actually makes you more exhausted than actually physical work?"
That is very true.
Because I didn't understand why every day I'll be so exhausted at the end of the day. It was like as if, or maybe like the first thing, because this is not good, but I think it happens to everybody who has medical knowledge. Because I have medical knowledge and I have that background, the first thing that came to my mind was, "Are you sure I'm not anemic now? I think I should go to the hospital, take my blood, whatever." But then I realized it's normal. Okay, but now, how do you try? Since you do a lot of mental work, because you mentioned that you do some writing, you have to work 9 to 5. Then you go to the gym, you come back, you write again, you do data analysis, freelance job. How do you try as much as possible to make sure that you don't feel so exhausted?
I think for me, I found that what really exhausts me a lot is, when you're switching between tasks. Yeah. So for instance, like you said, maybe you prepare for your teaching, and then after that, you're now mentally switching to get into the zone to write. Then you switch again. Yeah. So for me, before I do that switch, I do something in between. So for instance, I do my 9 to 5. I take 1 hour, I go to the gym. I come back, I take a nap, like an hour or 2 hours nap, and then I wake up and then I can write. Yeah. Because I'm not switching immediately to, something else. In the mornings, because I've slept for like maybe 8 hours or whatever, I feel more energized. So I can do 3 hours of PhD, just take a short 10 minutes break, 30 minutes break, get something to eat, and then start working. So in that sense, I'm not kind of, staying too prolonged and then just trying to switch, or rather to something else. But I understand what you mean. Any mental work is exhausting, but that's why I try to go to the gym, because I feel like every time I go to the gym, I feel more energized. It might seem counterintuitive, but I drag myself to the gym even if I don't feel like it, because every time I finish the workout, I would feel better.
okay, I know we're two different people. You say you're not a morning person, but I am a morning person. It's either
Yeah,
I go to the gym early in the morning, I
yeah,
go at night. I can't do like
in
five.
the evening.
It's not my thing. But I find out that whenever I don't know about other people, but gym exercise in general makes me feel so refreshed and
Yeah,
energized. I get that. But the gym, I don't know about other person. I find it so boring.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
I get that.
yeah, 'cause for example, I could just step out of my door now
Mm-hmm.
and take a walk for like 1 hour 30 minutes,
Yeah,
1 hour 30 minutes, or even go for a run, 1 hour
yeah,
like on just the road, or just go play football because I know when I play football, my whole body, everything is in tune. Everything is being worked out. But when
yeah.
I go to the gym, I get so bored. So when you go to the gym, what do you normally do that actually keeps you like makes you feel like, okay, do you know what?
Yeah.
This is what I have to do, and this is what I know that's gonna keep me energized, so that I can finish the task for the day.
Yeah. So what I do is I like you, I understand it. Like people for me, I don't know about other people. For me, if I was to go to the gym and go to the main gym, work out every day, I would get sick of it. So what I do is I mix up my gym routine. So for instance, on Mondays I attend a weightlifting class, and so it's just a class of about 10 people, and you're working out with other people, but you're doing the same kind of routine, but you can vary your weights, right?
Mm-hmm.
On Tuesday, I first go to a cycling class about 30 minutes, then I go to the main gym.
Yeah.
On Wednesdays, I do something else, I class, and then the main gym. I think the only days I use the main gym only is the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. On Fridays, I swim instead of doing any other sort of workout.
Yeah.
I swim instead. So in that way, I think I keep my exercise routine different, and so that way I don't get bored of it.
Fair, because that sounds more interesting because if you have varied activities to do, at least because if it is routine, if I know if I go there, I have to. Okay. This is what I normally maybe I'm going to take a leave from you because this is what I normally do that makes me feel like it's boring. I go there, I get on the treadmill. I must run on the treadmill for at least 45 minutes,
Yeah,
30 to 45 minutes before I can go to the weights, and
yeah,
then I can go and lift other stuff, and then do the abdominals and all before
yeah.
I leave. But maybe if I take a leave from you, maybe I'll find it more interesting because I
Yeah,
feel
we
like
just switch it up a little bit, because if you
yeah,
know that
because
this is exactly what I'm going to do, then But if you go to a gym class, sometimes there's a surprise because the gym is the person leading the class has changed whatever you're going to do that day, so it's different, it's more challenging for you. And I've also found, for instance, like when you're doing reps by yourself in the gym, it can be easy when you feel tired to just let it go. Just move on to the next thing. But in a gym class, you have to stick it through. Like you have to actually just try and keep up with everybody.
yeah,
And in that way, I just find it more interesting.
yeah. I used to go to this spin class and all.
Mm.
Man, the cycling was horrible.
It's intense.
By the time you finish, you'll be like, what the hell is going on here?
It's really intense.
But you have a point though. I think you're right because if you actually partake in those classes, you may end up finding the gym to be more interesting.
Yeah.
But you'll be forced to actually do things and keep up with other people.
And keep up with it and see it through to the end. That's true.
Yeah, that's then you build your endurance and discipline. You're
Yeah.
right. But I don't know if maybe because I'm so used to because I've played for different amateur teams, football teams.
Mhm.
I'm so used to us like going for runs together on the field.
Yeah.
Like whenever I get into the gym, I feel like it's boring.
It's boring because it's just you.
Yeah, so that's the first that comes to my mind. This is so boring. But when I go out there and I run around the beach, even if I'm doing that one alone, I feel much better. Like when I'm on the beach alone, stretching and making sure I'm doing because when I was in the team, we used to do like 720 to 1,000 abdominals a day.
Oh.
And I found it easy, like compared to like going to the gym to actually do those things.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a psychological thing. I don't know, but
maybe it's because that's what you're used to. Like that's the environment you're used to in terms of like training.
Yeah.
And so once you just leave it, and then it's not like more solo stuff, it's just not cutting it for you.
Yeah. Okay, but now that you mentioned that most of the things you do are varied in the gym, swimming, cycling and all. So, which of these activities, like, would you? I know you've mentioned. I guess you enjoy doing all of them, but which one do you think you pick and say this is the one actually you enjoy the most and actually keeps you refreshed to do the next activity you have for the day?
I think it's the lifting. I really, really enjoy lifting weights.
Okay, so what's the heaviest you've lifted?
So for squats, I think the heaviest I've done is 80 kg, which
Wow.
is not a lot because I mean,
Really?
I know people that do way more.
Well, you know people that do way more, but lifting 80 is not beans, I beg.
Yeah, because the goal initially was to lift my body weight. So I started from 50 kg and I started working my way up, and then I lifted my body weight to about 68 kg, and then I've surpassed my body weight now. So when I squat, that's about 80 kg, and then but when I do leg presses, I do about 100, 110 kg.
Yeah.
But I think that's because I've always worked on my legs, so I do have stronger legs. And so it's easy for me to increase the weight there. But my weakest part is my arms.
So you don't think you can carry 80 on your arms then?
Oh, like bench press? Hell no. No way.
Okay. Now I get what you mean. It means squats.
Squats, yeah. Like on your shoulders.
Okay. I don't think I've tried to carry. I know I carry those normal weight bags.
Yeah.
Normal like 25 kg, 30 kg.
Yeah.
About. But I don't think okay. But that's still a lot. 80 kg is a lot.
Yeah. So, but bench presses, I think I do about 25. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah. But it's with time. You progress.
Yeah.
but you don't sound so enthusiastic. You don't sound so optimistic that you're going to.
I don't. I actually don't. About the arms, I don't sound optimistic at all. But now that you mention it, I think it's because for the legs and all that, I've always set a weight. Like I'm like, okay, I want to get here by so time. I've never done that for bench press. I've never been like, oh, I would like to get to this target. So maybe I should start doing that.
Yeah. And then you should take more protein shake and all, and creatine. Yeah. Because I think as long as you manage to do with your legs, I think, and as long as you try and practice, you get used to it.
Yeah. That's true.
That's what it is actually. Okay, so the lifting is what actually keeps you refreshed.
Yeah, it's what I look forward to doing. You know, like if I feel tired and I don't want to go to the gym, if I think okay, I'm going to go and lift only, I feel more motivated. Yeah.
Okay, so do you think because it's something you look forward to, do you think that's what makes you so energized and refreshed at the end of the day, that when you get back home, you be like, okay, you know what? Let me get right into it and do something else.
I don't think so. I mean, the days I feel tired. But I think for me, it's just that thought that I know it's something I have to do. I'm such a have to do person. Like if I have to do something, I have to do it.
Yeah.
So I just know, okay, I have to do this thing. I don't feel like doing it, but I have to do it. So I think I think it's just like you've mentioned before, it's a discipline thing. Even on the days when I don't feel like it, I just want to stay at home. I just know that, okay, see, Uzy, you have to do this. And so I just do it.
So anybody listening to this podcast now can tell that you have a lot of self-discipline.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people can actually push themselves to actually do something when they don't have to.
True.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's easy for us to procrastinate and say, okay, you know what? Why do I have? Let me go tomorrow.
Yeah. And then tomorrow will come and then you go to tomorrow.
Yeah, but the discipline there is you telling yourself, yeah, I went to the bar, I know I'm tired, but even if it's just for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And you realize that most of the time when you say, okay, you know what, let me just do this for 30 minutes, you end up doing it for 40 minutes.
Yeah, for the time you are meant to do it for.
Yeah, you just push yourself for a little bit further.
Yeah.
So, but in everything you mentioned, you know, mention say you chop. Do you ever eat at all? Because
of course.
But 9 to 5, you do this one.
I have an hour's break between my 9 to 5.
Okay, so what kind of food do you eat? Do you eat food that makes you so tired? What kind of food do you eat?
Now I think this is where I will sound a bit crazy, right? I don't eat a lot compared to other people. So typically what my food intakes looks like in a day is when I wake up at 6, I don't eat anything, obviously. I just start writing. And then when I take a break,
not even a cup of coffee?
No. I just drink water and start writing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then when I take about 10 minutes break before I start working, then I might make like a cup of tea and I'll boil like maybe 2 eggs and I'll have that.
Okay.
And then around 12, 12:01, I would have a smoothie, like a cup of smoothie.
Yeah.
And then around 4, just before I go to the gym, I might have like some fruits, like bananas and whatnot. And then I go to the gym, and then when I come back, I have dinner. So dinner could be anything. It could be rice, it could be swallow, it could be anything at all. Then I have dinner, and then I go to bed. So in a day, I think I have one proper meal, and then like this little food all around.
Okay. Now that you mentioned, because it sounds like most of the things, majority of your food is actually fruits and vegetables. So
Yeah.
do you think you spend more money on food, like buying? Because for example, if you want to make fruity, for example, if I want to make food, normally I make banana and what's it called again? The berries, the green one.
Yeah.
With the green or red one. And if you mix two of, you should try mix banana and the berries together.
Yeah.
So my question now is, because if you end up doing that every day, for example, the box is like £1.25 or thereabout, depending on where you buy from.
Yeah.
So do you think you end up spending a lot to actually have fruits and to make smoothie, because you are going to consume a lot of fruits anyway to make the smoothie? Do you think you spend a lot on fruits and food?
I actually don't. And why I say that, okay, so in Birmingham, we have this open market.
Yeah.
And so in the market, they sell mostly fruits and vegetables. And you could buy like a bowl of strawberries for £1.
Yeah.
Or if you go in the evenings, you could buy 2 bowls for £1.
Okay.
So what I do is I usually make my smoothies with bananas, strawberries, blueberries, and yogurt.
Yeah.
I don't put in the grapes. So what I do is when I go to the market, I buy like the blueberries, the strawberries, and the bananas. So I could spend about £3-4 on those, and it's a lot. So when I come home, I freeze the strawberries and the blueberries, because those ones, they don't have like really long shelf life. So I freeze those ones. And then the bananas, I eat them as I go. I mean, if it finishes, I'll just go downstairs and buy bananas, right? So I can have that same quantity, like that same £4 quantity can last for about 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah, because I use just 2 strawberries and a handful of blueberries for the smoothie. So 2 strawberries, a handful of blueberries, 1 banana, and half an apple.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm just trying to think of the last time I went to the market. Last time I went to the market was probably 2 weeks ago, and I still have some strawberries. I'm almost running out of blueberries, so that means I might have to go to the market this weekend. So I think the only one I kind of buy more is bananas.
Okay.
But then it's not as if maybe I'll buy once a week, £1 something. Yeah, something like that. I bought a bunch today, so I know I spent that £1 something on a bunch of bananas.
Okay. Oh, okay. Interesting. Oh wow. Okay, so that's how you get energized throughout the day. You don't take coffee, because a lot of people.
No, I don't drink coffee.
Like 6-7 cups of black coffee a day.
No, I don't drink coffee at all. Like it's one of those things I don't drink at all.
Really?
Yeah, no, I don't take coffee.
Okay, you're missing out anyway.
That's what they all say.
But your stuff is just fruits, because that's what powers you throughout the day.
Yeah, mostly fruits. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So now we've talked about how you find a balance, time management, to actually make sure you get all your tasks done in the day, all the work you need to do, everything. So going down to your social life, you mentioned the gym, you try to keep fit. So how do you now inculcate your social life into the picture? Assuming you have like a busy day now, I thought like what you've already told us what your day and how busy it looks like, what it's like. So if you have like events, how do you actually inculcate them into your plan to make sure that everything's balanced as well?
Okay. So I think compared to most people, I do have a quite active social life, which sometimes, some people are like, how are you doing all this stuff like? But so for instance, in a good week, I might go out maybe 3 times, which is not a lot, right?
It's a lot for a lot of people, because a lot of people, I don't think in a week they even go anywhere.
So I might have like a social event, like 3 times that week. So now, depending on what it is, sometimes I do a lot of weekend getaways. So weekend getaways are easy because it's the weekend. I have the weekend to myself, and so it's easy to just go. But sometimes I do have stuff that come up like in the middle of the week. So I think a good example would be maybe 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine had her birthday party or dinner on a Wednesday.
Okay.
So it was smack in the middle of the week, and it was like 8 o'clock or something. So in my head, I was like, oh, okay, that means I can go to the gym, but I just have to be quick about it. So I went to the gym at 5, usual, and then, came home, freshened up, went for the event. I got back home at about midnight.
Okay.
And then I took a shower, I slept. And I woke up at around 6:30, and I only did like 2 hours of PhD writing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So instead of 3, I ended up doing just 2.
So instead of 3, I ended up doing 2. And then the day kind of carried on as per normal. So on days when I do have plans, I just, in my head, I think about it. It's not as if this plan is going to be an everyday thing. I think for me also, that's why I try not to do. I try not to guilt trip myself. Like, sometimes people feel guilty for maybe PhD students feel guilty for not doing their PhD work and doing something else. But for me, I think about it in the sense that this one day that I'm living, I'm not going to do 1 hour of work on this PhD would not end my life. Do you get? But trying to totally isolate myself from my friends just so I would do my PhD, that's not cool. So that's what I do. And then I might find time in the week to make up that time, because that's how I kind of think about it. I'm like, okay, that's fine. What I can do is that, this other day I can wake up slightly early and just kind of make up for lost time from the previous day. Or if it's a weekend where I don't have anything to do, then I know that entire weekend I'm going to just spend it on the PhD, you get.
Yeah.
So for me, it's also that kind of trade-off. I really, really prioritize like having that kind of social network support. And so I think about it like, this experience that I'm giving up for this PhD, would I regret it in the future? If the answer is yes, man, I would not give it up. I would do it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's that simple. Because I know that come what may, I will finish this PhD. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's guaranteed that I'll finish it. So
no, but I know this is out of the context of what we're actually talking about. I know there was a time I was doing the PhD. At the point, I started asking myself, am I sure I'm going to finish? Have you ever had that kind of thought before?
No.
Really? Okay.
No.
Because most people I've met always have that kind of thought. Maybe I don't know, maybe yours is different, but people I've met in the lab, because maybe experiments are not going right. They're so worried. Am I going to get enough results to actually defend my... But most of the time, people in life sciences, because experiments can actually
fail.
Not just fail, can actually make you depressed. No, I'm serious. There was this during my own time, I remember I was working on extrasolar vesicles, and I don't even think up till now anybody's working on that kind of stuff in my lab right now.
Yeah.
Because it took me 6 months to get this thing working. Like to get even images using the microscope and all. At the point I was in my head, I almost gave up. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to finish this. So like, what's going on? Because at the end of the day, no one cares about the work you put in. They want to see results.
The results, yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you don't have results, it will be like as if you wasted your whole 2-3 years doing nonsense.
Yeah, doing nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I asked the question. Have you ever been in that situation where you start asking yourself, am I sure I'm going to finish? Do I have enough data to show? Have I done enough? Like, have you ever been in that situation before?
No, I think maybe like you mentioned, it's like a science thing.
Yeah.
Like you guys have to build up experiments and stuff. For us in economics, so for instance, my PhD is international trade. In terms of data, like raw data, we mostly use data collected by, World Bank and all those people. And most of the data you need is already collected. So now what you need to do is like, find your results in terms of like causality and stuff. The data has to be really trash, or you have to be really bad to not find any results.
Fair.
Yeah. Fair. Which is a very, for those two things to occur at the same time, it's hard. So for me, I've always known I'll finish. It's just a matter of when would that happen.
When and how.
And how, yeah. I told someone, I think it was about 2 years ago, I was having a conversation with a friend, and I told her that I know that come the day of my deadline, I would have a thesis to submit. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
But it's just the process of getting there.
Yeah. The process of getting there can be annoying.
Exactly.
But it's good that you have a positive outlook on things, because a lot of PhD students complain a lot, and I don't blame them. I get it.
Yeah.
The mental stress is too much,
Yeah.
and but you have a balance, so, and your self-discipline, everything shines through. So maybe that's what actually keeps you going. That it actually helps you as much as possible to have a positive outlook on life and the PhD in general.
Yeah.
Because other people I've met, sometimes the PhD sucks them in and they don't even have a social life anymore.
Yeah. I think also it also kind of maybe stems on the mindset you came in with. So like a little bit of background for me, like when I was doing my undergraduate, so I did my undergraduate in Uniport, right? And when I was in my undergraduate, I knew that, okay, I wanted to graduate with a first class. But at the same time, I knew that I wanted to experience being an undergraduate. So right from then, I found that balance. Like I used to go out with my friends, I like restaurant, trying new places. So go to restaurant hopping. I go swimming every week. If there's party to go, I would go. But at the same time, I studied every day for 3 days, for 3 hours, every single day of my undergraduate. So coming into the PhD, I knew that the PhD will not be my life. Like it will not be the center of my universe, if that makes sense. Because I will still have to leave while I do the PhD.
Yeah. Well, that's impressive, because you are one of it's rare. Few people I've met who can actually find a balance between social life and actually studying. a lot of people can't. No, I'm being honest. Like, it's either they are so academic, they're so into their academic life, or they're so into their social life. But finding that balance is a problem for a lot of people.
Yeah.
No, because I remember, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I remember back in secondary school, I had friends, and I had such friends that your parents would be wondering, how do you pass? Those were the kind of friends I had. Like, I was still friends with them in secondary school. But then a result will come out, I'll still be the first in my class.
Yeah.
And my parents will be wondering, how do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I didn't understand what they were saying. But as I grew older, I got to realize not everybody can find that balance. I'm telling you, this is what I found out as I grew older. Some people can actually, they are good with that street life. Let me call it street life. That's street smart.
Yeah.
So their life is all about the street, trying to understand what's happening in life. But when you put them in an academic setting, they struggle.
Yeah.
Whereas there are people who are so in the academic setting that when you take them out and put them in the setting, they struggle.
Yeah.
But finding that balance where you have a good social life, you know a lot of people, you can have fun, go for parties, do whatever you want to do, and then go into your PhD or whatever you want to do and still smash it and accelerate. Not a lot of people can find that balance.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah. So but because of time, it's been lovely talking to you, Uzy, and this is what we're gonna stop for today. And you've actually given us a sneak peek into your life and how you try as much as possible to find a balance between work and as much as possible make sure you remain an A student, if I may call you that.
Thank you for having me. I've actually really enjoyed my time here.
Yeah, everybody says that, so now you guys have to start paying me for that. But hopefully we should do this we should do this again.
Yeah, definitely.
Sometime soon. Yeah.
Definitely.
But yeah, thank you for coming on the show, and see you soon.
Right. Thanks a lot.
All right. Take care.
All right. You too.